All right, another NFL season in the bag. Season just ended officially about an hour ago, maybe a little less. Patriots win another Super Bowl, and more interestingly, to a guy like me who is a Seahawks fan, the team they beat was the Los Angeles Rams. I these last 2 weeks I've been pretty down. I didn't even want to make a video to talk about it because the things I was seeing were just ugly. And of course, I don't like the Patriots. I don't like to see them keep winning again and again and again. But when the Rams somehow managed to win that game in overtime in New Orleans, and I saw that this was the matchup, I didn't really know what I wanted. And a lot of Seahawks fans had this debate back and forth over the couple weeks. I saw it on Facebook, Twitter, wherever. Field goals, and who are you going to root for? Like, oh, I can't root for the Patriots. Of course I'm going to go for the Rams. They're a young, fun team. I saw that. And then you see, oh, no, we can't root for the Rams. They're a division rival. They beat us twice this year. We got to pull for Brady. Uh, I never really kind of decided what I even really wanted. I'm old enough to remember when the last time the Rams mattered. I'm old enough to remember the Kurt Warner, Mark Bulger, Mike Martz, Marshall Faulk, Steven Jackson, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Leonard Little. There's a blast from the past. Those Rams. I'm old enough to remember those Rams. I remember when the Seahawks moved from the AFC to the NFC, and after a couple years, the Rams became the team that we had to get past in order to win our division and actually become a big-time team worth fearing for the rest of the league. And in 2004, it seemed like we had everything going for us. We were better than the Rams. The Rams were falling off, and then we lost to them 3 times in one season, including a game in the playoffs that I went to, where Bobby Engram dropped the game-tying touchdown with no time left, basically on fourth down. Blew a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter at home to the Rams that year, 2004. And then the next year, we finally swept them. We got the monkey off our back, and we were finally able to lay claim to the NFC West. And then for like the next 11 or 12 years after that, the Rams were just a terrible team, and they did give us trouble in some of the games. When they got Jeff Fisher and they were cycling through guys like Sam Bradford and I think they had Case Keenum for a little while, and they might have even had Ryan Fitzpatrick at one point for a year or two. They were just cycling through quarterbacks, cycling through offensive systems, and they were a pain in our ass, but they were never any good. So a lot of these Seahawks fans who are a little younger, you don't remember. The Rams were the first team that I really hated as a Seahawks fan growing up, because I've been a Seahawks fan since 1996, but I didn't really start absorbing football on a higher level until like 2003, 2004. That was back when the Rams were still a really good team with Mark Bulger and Marshall Faulk and Torrey Holt, and they beat us a lot, and they won the division, and then they beat us 3 times in that one year, like I said. So I remember when the Rams were the team I hated more than anybody, and Torrey Holt always talking shit, and then finally I think there was a stretch of time where we beat the Rams like 9 times or 10 times or 11 times in a row. And at no point during that like 12-year span between 2005 and 2016 would you have been able to call the Rams even average. At no point were they even a mediocre football team. They were below average to atrocious every year. So you forget. But I haven't forgotten. So I really wasn't excited to root for the Rams in a Super Bowl. And it's just one of those things where I just watched the game and was like, well, this sucks. Why couldn't it have been the Saints? Why couldn't it have been the Chiefs? So that was kind of where I stood on it. I didn't stand anywhere definitively. It was hard for me to root for either team. And beyond just who I was rooting for, these last 2 weeks, I've been really kind of down on the prospects for this Seahawks team in the NFC West for the foreseeable future, because I watched them find a way to win that game against the Saints. I know they got the biggest hand job ever from the refs. They got one of the most bogus no calls I've ever seen in my life. And without that, they would have not won that game. So I understand that, but still, they found a way to win that game. Their offense, which had been dead most of the game, made a few big plays at the end. Their kicker, one of the best kickers in the league, maybe the best. It depends on where Justin Tucker's going with his career. And watching them make it to the Super Bowl in a decent conference, although at this point maybe we have to say that maybe this conference isn't as good as we thought. I was like, they're making the Super Bowl this year, and I don't think their team, or at least the talent they have on offense, is that good. I still kind of don't. I mean, Jared Goff, before tonight's game, I would have said that Jared Goff is barely above average. He's very good at a couple things, but he cannot handle pressure at all. He cannot handle the play breaking down at all. He makes a lot of bad throws. He makes some bad decisions. He has a golden arm. He can throw beautiful passes, but if you get pressure on him, if you cover his receivers well, he doesn't know what to do. He panics. He makes bad decisions. He takes bad sacks. Mediocre quarterback. And after tonight, I don't even know if I'd give him that. That was not a very good Patriots defense, and the Rams could barely move the ball all night. And I understand that he was going up against a great defensive coordinator, but it is shocking how bad Goff was tonight. He put up 3 points against a team that, Patrick Mahomes 2 weeks ago put up, what did he put up, like 31 points on him? Even Phillip Rivers put up some points in garbage time. Goff barely squeaked out one field goal, and he nearly took a sack to screw up that field goal. So I think Goff is a below average quarterback at this point. If I'm a Rams fan, I don't want him around any longer than his rookie contract runs. I don't think Todd Gurley is that good of a running back. There's a stat that I've seen that Todd Gurley averages 4 yards per carry before he gets touched, and then he averages 5 yards a carry, period. So basically, he's getting 4 free yards on average per running play. That to me says he's not that good of a running back. C.J. Anderson looks just as good as Todd Gurley. And we know C.J. Anderson is not a superstar running back. He's bounced around the league this season alone. I don't think that Robert Woods is a superstar. I don't think Josh Reynolds is a superstar. Maybe Brandon Cooks is a really good receiver. Maybe Cooper Kupp. Obviously, we haven't seen him in like 3 months now, so we don't really know what's going on with him. Even their tight ends, I mean, who is Higbee? Who are those guys? I don't even really know who the Rams tight ends are. Gerald Everett and Higbee. Those guys aren't that good. I honestly don't even think that offensive line, they're good, but most of the year they look like the best offensive line in football. And I think in terms of talent, they're not close. And Sean McVay had them at the level of one of the best offenses of all time. They were like the 11th best offense in NFL history by points. So I was down because I was like, he's taking a team that I don't think has that much talent and making them an offensive juggernaut. One of the best offenses in the league, one of the best offenses of all time. What happens when, maybe they lose a guy in a couple years? Maybe they lose Robert Woods to free agency or Josh Reynolds, and you're going to think, oh, that's a big deal. But no, it's probably not. They just go get some guy and plug him in, and the McVay system keeps working, and it works on every level. I don't think those offensive linemen are as good as they look. I don't think the receivers are as good as they look. So one thing that was keeping me going through this season was, the Rams are going to lose a bunch of players this offseason. They got a bunch of guys on one-year deals. They're going to lose them. I don't know if it matters. I didn't know if it mattered because I think McVay just makes that team look so much better than they are, and he can do that no matter who his players are. So I was like, this is not going to go away anytime soon, and McVay is barely older than me. McVay could be the coach of the Rams for 40 years. So I was pretty down because my team You know, for better or worse, they have a coach with an old school mentality who doesn't quite seem to get it offensively. We have an offensive coordinator who was stuck in the 1940s, and I was like, man, how are we going to compete? So I was pretty down about that. And now after this game, watching this game, I don't know. Now I'm like, well, maybe Jared Goff is actually that bad. I knew he wasn't good, but I didn't know he was that bad. And for him to not be able to score a touchdown on a Patriots defense that, I mean, they gave up points to frickin' Brock Osweiler this year. They gave up points to, I think they gave up points to Sam Darnold. Darnold's not terrible. The only quarterback who played worse against the Patriots this year than Jared Goff is probably Josh Allen in Week 16. So I don't know how to feel right now. I'm a little more hopeful about this whole thing now because the Rams are stuck with Jared Goff for at least one more year. If I'm a Rams fan, if I'm a member of that organization, I am trying to move on from that dude fast. I want nothing to do with the $150 million contract that he might dictate as a first-round pick who does put up good numbers, but or a first overall pick who puts up good numbers. But yeah, I saw the awards tonight, and I have some belief now that if this Seahawks team can get a pass rush this next season that can terrorize Goff constantly like the Patriots were able to tonight, it looks like he can't do anything. It looks like he's not even an average quarterback. And given the way the NFL is going right now, if the best you can say about a quarterback is that he does great when everything around him is perfect, then he's not a very good quarterback. And Goff, to me, looks like that. You get a little pressure on him. If you chip his receivers, if people don't get open by like 12 yards, then he doesn't have it. So that's basically my last thoughts about this season. I'm conflicted. I'm worried about the McVay offense just running circles around the division for the foreseeable future. I'm worried about what McVay could do to us for the next 40 years. But after tonight, watching Jared Goff play football against a defense that knew what they were doing and had the personnel to make life hard for him, there's nothing to fear from that guy. All right, so there's your Super Bowl recap. I talked about it almost exclusively from the perspective of the Rams because that's the team that matters to us as Seahawks fans. But yeah, not really a good Sunday, not really a fun game, not a game I was looking forward to watching, not a game with any team in it that I care to see win the Super Bowl. So next couple of videos, we'll be talking about the Seahawks exclusively, so get ready for that. But I'm going to go stream on Twitch tonight probably, so if you guys want to come check me out a little later, see y'all.